It has been almost 2 weeks since the Ukrainian Armed Forces invaded the Kursk region. Analyzing the fighting in this Russian region, many independent military experts and analysts concluded that the Ukrainian High Military Command did not expect the armed forces of Ukraine to receive such a fierce rebuff from the Russian army in the Kursk region. Indeed, before the invasion of the armed forces of Ukraine into the Kursk region, there were no well-fortified strongholds and powerful border detachments in this region of Russia. There were only small military units, or conscripts served, who had not even seen a machine gun in their lives. As it turned out, this is exactly what the Ukrainian General Staff and their NATO advisors hoped for, during the invasion of the Kursk region by the armed forces of Ukraine. They thought that the lack of well-armed and experienced units of the Russian army in the Kursk region would allow the armed forces of Ukraine to easily reach the city of Kursk and capture the Kursk nuclear power plant. At the beginning of the invasion, everything went well for the armed forces of Ukraine. They broke into the Kursk region and scattered through this region like cockroaches, capturing dozens of ordinary conscripts. However, their fun did not last long. General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation managed to react in time and quite professionally to the invasion of the armed forces of Ukraine into the Kursk region. A few hours after the invasion of the Ukrainian army, experienced units of the grouping of troops under the designation Sever appeared in the Kursk region. It was these professional Russian soldiers who managed to stop the armed forces of Ukraine on the outskirts of the city of Kursk, as a result of which the Ukrainian army lost precious time and was forced to change its action plan on the move. Later, fighters from the Spetsnaz Akhmat also appeared in the Kursk region, as well as the so-called combat musicians from the PMC Wagner group. All this led to the fact that the offensive of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region was completely stopped. And unfortunately for the Ukrainian General Staff and its NATO advisors, the Russian generals did not even need to transfer experienced units of the Russian army from the Special Military Operations Zone to the Kursk region, as a result of which the offensive of Russian troops in the Donbass not only did not weaken, but even intensified. According to the commander of the Spetsnaz Akhmat, General Apty Yelodinov, the Russian army is in full control of the situation in the Kursk region, and continues the systematic destruction of the units of the armed forces of Ukraine in this Russian region. At the same time, the general confirmed that the armed forces of Ukraine do not fully control the town of Sudzha. However, despite the official statements of such a high-ranking officer of the Russian army, Ukrainian propagandists continue to claim that the situation in the Kursk region is still far from stabilization, and that the city of Sudzha is allegedly under the full control of the Ukrainian army. As evidence, they cite footage of Italian journalists that were allegedly taken in the city of Sudzha. At the same time, it is worth noting that the commander of one of the groups of the 204th Regiment of the Spetsnaz Akhmat also refuted the statement of Ukrainian propaganda that the city of Sudzha is allegedly controlled by the armed forces of Ukraine. As it turned out, on the night of August 17, 2024, the fighters of Spetsnaz Akhmat unblocked and evacuated 100 civilians and about 20 conscripts from the town of Sudzha. It is reported that the fighters of Spetsnaz Akhmat would never have been able to evacuate civilians from Sudzha if the armed forces of Ukraine had fully controlled this settlement. By the way, even the Ukrainian telegram channels admit that the city of Sudzha is not fully controlled by the armed forces of Ukraine. According to them, the eastern part of the city is still not under the control of the Ukrainian army. Ukrainian telegram channels recognize that the offensive potential of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region has completely exhausted itself, and now the main task for the Ukrainian army is not to advance deep into Russian territory, but to hold its positions on occupied territories. Many Ukrainian military experts justify the failures of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region by the fact that the Ukrainian army faced not ordinary units of the Russian army, but the best and most combat-ready units of the Army Special Forces. The concern of Ukrainian experts and Telegram channels is also caused by the fact that over the past 5 days, the number of voluntarily surrendered Ukrainian soldiers in the Kursk region has increased to 150 people. And this figure continues to grow rapidly. It is reported that Ukrainian soldiers surrender to the Russian army every day, in almost all areas of the Kursk region. For example, on August 17, 2024, 30 Ukrainian soldiers and officers voluntarily surrendered to Russian troops near the village of Komarovka. It is reported that Ukrainian militants informed the Russians of their desire to surrender through a specially created channel in the Telegram messenger. All this indicates that even the most ardent Ukrainian nationalists no longer believe in the success of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region, and are simply trying to save their lives. Against this backdrop, many Ukrainian independent military bloggers and some influential Russian Telegram channels said that NATO sent into action its special units in the Kursk region. It is reported that these units are fighting in the Kursk region under a false flag, as so-called volunteers. It is reported that in addition to French and Polish soldiers, U.S. Army Rangers have also appeared in the Kursk region. Their main task is to prevent the retreat of the armed forces of Ukraine from the Kursk region, and strengthen the protection of occupied territories. The fact that American soldiers are directly involved in the attack on the Kursk region is evidenced by the footage of the destruction of the HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems. Over the past 2 days, Russia has destroyed 3 HIMARS missile systems that shelled the Kursk region in non-stop mode. Sources in the Russian military department noted that these missile systems were operated exclusively by active duty soldiers and officers of the U.S. Army. It is reported that over the past 2 days, the U.S. Army has lost 8 of its military specialists, who operated HIMARS missile systems in the Kursk direction of the front.